I have to admit, I enjoyed that movie way more than I was expecting to, because I was expected to only enjoy it based on like a discussion topic, comparing it to the Anderson movies, but actually I think even if I hadn't seen the Anderson movies, I would have enjoyed it. Not as much as I did, but I think I still would have enjoyed it for what it is, a movie that's set in a zombie apocalypse, except that the apocalypse is only in a small area, though it's definitely going to spread to other areas. Like, there's no way it just stays there given how much of the town was infected and how the main group didn't actually kill that many people, because unlike the Anderson movies, this movie takes a lot more of a laid-back approach. Yeah, it still follows the basic premise of the first two Anderson movies, but it's a lot less in your face. Here, they clearly want us to get to know the characters in preparation for later movies, but I'm not so sure that this movie really is going to get a sequel because, it only grossed $43 million in theaters against a $25 million production budget, but does that include all of the marketing costs? Because sometimes on Wikipedia it does, and then other times they state that it doesn't. And I also have no clue how this movie has been doing on streaming or anything like that. So, I don't know. I think that the likelihood of sequels is honestly kind of low. And this is definitely something that cannot transition into TV, because, one, you have The Walking Dead taking all the zombie spotlight, yes, but also, I just don't see them having enough story to work with in order to flush it out to the point of a TV show, honestly. You would have to put in a lot more extra stuff. So, definitely keep it to the movies if they intend to continue with this. But getting to know the characters a little better was refreshing because only some of the Anderson movies were able to accomplish this. Extinction, Afterlife, but only in terms of roles and kind of with Apocalypse, but I don't know, I kind of need to rewatch Apocalypse because I get the idea that I didn't get the best impression of the characters that I could have, because I really don't remember that much from Jill in that movie. Like, I didn't want anything to happen to her character, but that was really only because she was the only other female character besides Alice at the time. Right. And then let's not even talk about what happened to her in the fifth movie. Ugh, I hate that fifth one. Right. But I really did enjoy the characters. Sure, the red herrings for Issacs and Wesker not exactly being as evil as they're portrayed to be in the Anderson verse from the get-go was kind of odd, but if that's more in touch with the games or because the producers just wanted to tackle it from a different angle, then what am I complaining about? Especially since Wesker, who I kept calling Glasses in my review for the Anderson movies, does get his glasses at the end of this. I just burst out laughing when I saw that. I'm like, oh! Madness. And I'm really curious to see what they do with Ada Wong's character, because I was able to guess that that was the name of her character, so she had to have been in the fifth movie. That's the only one that she could have been in, but I have no clue what they did with her character there. Or same thing with Leon, because supposedly he was in the fifth one. I don't know, because as I've said repeatedly, I hate the fifth one. Just, yeah. That's the only one of the Anderson movies that I truly do not want to see again. Ugh, right. But it was still nice to see it on a different angle, even though Isaac's motives are kind of odd, because he's trying to save his family, and he keeps mentioning, I don't want my work getting destroyed, although I wonder what the G virus is, because that might be the antivirus, but I'm not too sure. T virus, well, obviously we know what that is, right? But I did feel like that they were pretty well acted, but they're definitely going to have to flush out Wesker's character in future installments, because unlike Wesker in the Anderson movies, while we are getting more personality from him, at the same time he's more of a jerk. So you're going to have him change. So I would hope that they continue using the same actor so that way we can really get a better impact. Because I think if they change actors, it's not going to feel like the same character. If they keep the actor, that would actually be better. Then as for Jill, let's talk about her next. I definitely think that I'm going to like this particular Jill. Not because she isn't as big of a badass, but just because we just had a little more time with her. Nothing's really stealing the light away from her. She's part of a shared cast for real this time. And, they're definitely trying better with her than what was done in the Anderson movies, albeit I can't totally blame them because they only had one movie to work with her, and then when they were making the next one, the character was busy filming, the actress was busy filming Aragon, so that's where they brought in Claire instead of her. But I do think I'm going to like this Jill, so I'm glad about that. Chris in here, it's nice to see a Chris that can actually mesh with Claire, and you have a little more confidence in, because while Wentworth Miller was good at giving Chris an idea of strength and knows how to handle himself in a fight, that was it. Like, he did not really work well with Ali Lauder that much based on what I remember in the movie, and his character really did not have to be Chris. It could have been anybody. They just happened to call it Chris, which is kind of like how I view the whole Resident Evil movies anyway. It's movies that are loosely based off the games, and then they call them Resident Evil. Kind of like how Starship Troopers, the original movie, only takes some elements from the book, and it's really a totally different beast. Not even modernized, just totally different. V for Vendetta is an excellent example of modernizing the story, even though there are plenty of differences. Believe me, I've seen videos. But this Chris definitely worked well with the actress that was portraying Claire, and I have more confidence in him. And then the actress that played Claire in here, while I found it kind of odd that they didn't really flush out her haunted memories of the orphanage that much. Other than that, I have no problem with her character being less of a leader, but still being willing to take risks. I like that about her because she's more embodying of the badass personality than Ali Lauder was, because in Extinction, okay, Ali Lauder's character could hold herself in a fight, but she was more of a leader rather than a badass. In the other two movies that she's in, is the exact opposite, but there was still potential for her to do that. So you can tell that this Claire is different. Not that I'm complaining, though, because as people on YouTube have pointed out, they actually do like Ali Lauder as Claire, but acknowledge she's different. It's a different take on the character. What's wrong with that? Especially if it's more true to the games, even though Ali Lauder's outfit in the 6th movie is a lot like the outfit that this Claire was wearing, right? I think that's about it for summarizing the characters. Well, I didn't really touch upon Leon that much, but well, I'll say this about him. I did get more faith in his character as the movie was going along, but I would like him to shine in his more individual way, and he's really only got one more movie that they can do that in. So if they don't, well, we'll see how that goes. Then as for just like how the plot was resolved, I do kind of agree with the one random comment I saw on Wikipedia that the third act was somewhat rushed, but they're escaping the city. That wasn't rushed. It was more of what they were doing with Issacs, and then a little bit of Wesker's character, because he's trying to tell Isaacs' daughter, hey, I wouldn't have pulled the trigger, kid. You would have. Come on. And, like, what on earth happened to Wesker to get him to become that, not really demented, because he's not possessed by anything, because he never injected himself with anything, as far as I could tell, but to become that disturbed? Like, what happened? What, the text from Ida Wan, for lack of anyone else to put the blame on, that sent you over the edge? I don't think so. But Isaacs, yeah, they definitely could have done better with that story. Like, the only real reason I knew it was Isaacs is just because of assessing everyone else. Right. So, as I said, I did enjoy the movie, but I think the likelihood of sequels to this is going to be kind of low. As for how I rate this movie, I bet that this is going to kind of surprise you, because I'm going to do something that is slightly unusual. I'm going to have my personal rating of the movie be a little held back, whereas critique, I'm going to give the movie exactly what I think it should get. So critique, 4 out of 5. This movie knows what it is, and it handles itself pretty well. Personally, though, I'm going to go 3 out of 5. Why? Mostly because I just don't think that there's going to be any more. Who knows? I could be wrong here. I could be, but I don't know. We'll see. Well, I hope you enjoyed this review, and I would hope that I didn't bash this product too much, because I knew when I was watching the Anderson movies that they were a loose adaptation. This being a more direct adaptation, even though I'm sure there's tons of differences, I think you know what I'm trying to say. See ya.